We begin in the Northwest Territories, where there is an ongoing drug crisis, and it's been especially acute in Hay River. 21 people overdosed on contaminated illegal drugs between October 22nd and November 17th. None were fatal, but since 2020, 10 people there have died from overdoses. The CBC's Marc Winkler was in the community recently. He traveled there to talk to people who are at the center of this crisis, and he joins us now in studio to talk about it. Marc, can you start by telling us about some of the people that you met in Hay River?
Sure. One of the people that I want to tell you about first off is Matt Poitras. He was among a group of people hanging out behind a convenience store in the community. He grew up in Hay River. He was a three-time high jump champion, captain of the soccer team, and won the MVP award. And then went on to work as a welder at Diavik Diamond Mines, got a leadership award there. But 10 years ago, he ended up failing a drug test and losing his job at the mine. And he's been struggling with drug addiction since. He says his brother died of an overdose recently and that he himself OD'd only 2 weeks ago. He says it's hard to stay off drugs, especially in a small town where there aren't that many supports.
I don't know, I find when I quit for 4 or 5 days, I just stay home, all right? But then what's the point of that if you gotta just stay home? That's not living life either, right? We need lots of supports. We need, like I said, a temporary employment agency would be a nice one to help people get back on their feet. A shelter based on stages, like a shelter. If you're just gonna be a doper all day, okay, you're on stage one, you get a cot, get out at 7 in the morning. If you're working every day and and you go to the temp agency and you're saving your money, okay, level 2 or 3, you get a bedroom, right?
So Lena, you hear there that Matt wants some pretty particular things. He says the community needs a work program for people like him. And right now there is a homeless shelter, but it's only open at night. Matt wants to see something like a warming center during the day and also some transitional housing made available.
So, Marc, what did other people tell you about the kind of support that they need?
Well, Matt was just one of many who said that better housing was really important. But a lot of people said that local treatment programs were also needed. People usually have to travel south for treatment. Antoine Smallgeese is one of the other people I met behind the convenience store that night. And he says that he would like to go to treatment, but that he doesn't want to leave Hay River right now. And he says that even though he knows his lifestyle, smoking crack is pretty risky.
It happened too often now. It's like the city, and it's a small town, and it is scary, You don't know if it's your last one, So before I do pray before I have it.
Antoine says his family often tells him they love him and that they want him to go to rehab. And Antoine says he might do that in the new year.
That sounds like a really difficult thing for his family to be dealing with, for himself to be dealing with. Marc, what else? Did you meet anyone who's trying to help people like Antoine?
I did. While I was behind that convenience store, a woman drove up in her truck. Her name was Violet Kichikowski, and she rolled down her passenger window and told me that she'd recently lost a family member to drugs, and now she drives around checking in on people, seeing if they need help to make sure the same thing doesn't happen to others.
I always come around and check on family and friends and give them a ride, see if they're doing good, and try to do my best to help them out. Yeah, I'm always there to talk to family and friends. Make sure they're warm and they're fit and stuff. I care a lot about all of them.
Violet says things might look bleak, but the community of people experiencing addictions and homelessness support each other, and that they do their best to make sure everyone stays as safe as possible.
Now, you also met somebody who has been able to turn things around. What's their story?
I met Gwen Reimer. She's from Fort Resolution, but lived in Hay River for many years, battling an addiction to crack cocaine. She ended up homeless and having to steal food to support her habit. She says an overdose where she nearly died motivated her to go to a treatment center down south, and she's now been sober for 7 months. She says even if there isn't a treatment center in the north, there has to be more support for when people return after getting treatment in the South.
They send people away to treatments and then they come back and then you're basically throwing them right back out there to, slip up again. Hay River's not a big place, so no matter where you go, you're going to see somebody, you're going to know somebody, you're going to know somebody that has something or, like just small little interactions like that, like just even walking into the library here. We seen somebody outside and they were trying to wave at me and I knew that wasn't the right way to go because that's the wrong crowd. And so it's just little things like that. It's really hard here. It's really hard to try to stay sober here in this community.
So Leanie, that's Gwen Reimer. She says she's lucky that she had a supportive family back in Fort Resolution who helped her get through this really tough period of her life. But you could hear her there echoing what so many people told me in Hay River, that it's not easy trying to stop taking an addictive drug, especially in a small town. And that ultimately people in Hay River are going to need more support, things like better housing and better treatment options if they're going to be able to start pulling their lives back together.
Thanks for all of your reporting on this, Marc.
Thanks for having me.